Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing an adorable card featuring some brand new products from Concord 9th. These are just released today and they are perfect for the winter and fall months. And I'm going to be using a couple of the bundles included in today's release. I'm going to be using the Stay Cozy Stencil and Coordinating die set. This die set is so much fun because it includes these little strips of dies that will create kind of a sweater pattern on your card front. And I'll also be using the Sweater Season dies and Coordinating stamp set. The stamp set includes a couple of things to add textures to the sweaters as well as some sentiments there. So I had a great time creating this card. I kind of just sat down and went for it. I kind of had a plan in my head, and my plan was to take and create an ink blend and die cut the words. So you could actually kind of do this with the stencil set as well, but this is how I went about it because I wanted to add some dimension to these letters. I took the shadow die and I just kind of measured out how wide I needed my ink blending to be. And I marked that on some Concord 9th white cardstock. And then I'm coming in with 3 colors of ink. I'm using Fig, Honeysuckle, and Grapefruit ink to create a gorgeous blend. Now, I love these colors together, and hello, I'm using purple. I know I hardly ever use purple, but I have to tell you, this Fig from Concord 9th is a purple I can really get on board with. And it blends beautifully up into that honeysuckle, and it looks gorgeous paired with this grapefruit as well. So I'm just kind of blending the color on, and it will smooth out as it dries back. But you'll see after I add the grapefruit, I'm going to go back over with the pink brush and kind of blend over that area where they meet just to kind of smooth things out. And now I have my cardstock ready to die cut. So now I am taking the word die from the Stay Cozy die set, and I'm positioning it onto this ink blended cardstock, and I'm going to run that through my Anna Griffin Impress machine to die cut that out, and I'll set all of the letters over to the side. Now, you could create the same blend using the stencil on a piece of cardstock and then die cut it with the shadow layer. But I wanted the actual layers to have some dimension. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Now, this is a great tip for lining up letters like this on a shadow layer. I'm going to die cut the shadow layer. I'm using white cardstock today. You could use any color cardstock that you want for this. And once I have the shadow layer, I'm going to actually take the word die and I am going to align it in the center of that shadow layer. And then I'm going to use some repositionable tape to kind of hold that in place while I run this through my die cut machine. But instead of die cutting the letters, I am going to take out my magnetic plate here that comes with the Anna Griffin Impress machine, and I'm going to replace it with the embossing mat. So this is going to leave me with an impression of the letters instead of a die cut version of the letters. And this is going to help me kind of stack up some layers of these letters onto the shadow and have them perfectly positioned the way it was intended. And most die cutting machines have an embossing mat that is available, so you should be able to do this with whatever die cut machine you have. But you can see I have an impression of those letters on the shadow layer, and that's going to be really crucial when I go to line these up. Now, I've also die cut the letters from white cardstock. I die cut 2 layers of white, and I'm stacking those up using some liquid glue. And I'm going to finish off the stack with the ink blended piece and place that right on top. Then I'm going to take this stack of letters and I'm going to use that impression that's on the shadow layer to help me position this. So I'm just going to add a little liquid glue inside of that outline of that letter S, and then I'm going to add my stacked up S on top of that. Now from here on out, I ended up just gluing directly onto the outline of the shadow layer. So those impressed outlines, I'm going to line up the T right over the impressed T. And I'm going to start with the 2 layers of white cardstock and then top it off with the ink blended piece. So you can see me doing that here. I have the liquid glue. I'm just stacking up those white layers and then finishing off with that beautiful ombre piece. So I went ahead and did this with all of the letters to give them some dimension. You could use a foam adhesive for this, but these letters are kind of on the thin side, and I think it's easier to kind of do this with the stacked up pieces instead. Now I also die cut an additional layer of that shadow layer just to kind of give this some heft and some weight on my card front. So I'm gluing that additional shadow layer behind this assembled piece. Now I'm going to grab my sweater weather die set, and I am going to grab some of the accessories. I also have kind of that turtleneck sweater there, and I am going to grab all the pieces that I want, or all the pieces that I think that I want, and I'm going to die cut them all at once. So I'm going to die cut my sweater from some Nectar cardstock, the kind of trim pieces from some Juniper cardstock, and then I have this snowflake that I'm die cutting from some Concord 9th silver glitter cardstock, and I'm going to run that through my Anna Griffin Impress machine to die cut all of these pieces. Now, before I assemble this, I thought it would be really pretty to add a little bit of that ink blending to the bottom of the sweater. So I am going to grab the sweater, and I'm going to grab my Waffle Flower grip mat and add just a little bit of blending to the bottom of that sweater just to give it some, I don't know, ombre, ombre love. I have to tell you that if I had a sweater like this in real life, I would wear it every day of the winter season. So if you are a knitter, like a master knitter, I'm probably a size large. You could go ahead and make me a sweater just like this, and I'll wear it. Now for the ink blending on the sweater, I'm using some Honeysuckle ink right at the bottom. I didn't go super intense on that, just adding a little bit of shading. And then just to kind of blend that up into the Nectar, I grabbed the Grapefruit ink and just kind of blended up. So I don't have ink going all the way up the sweater. I just have it maybe like 2/3 up the sweater, but it's just enough to give it some beautiful ombre finish. And I love the way that this turned out. Now that I have that all ink blended, I'm going to grab my liquid glue, and I'm going to add liquid glue to the hem portion and the cuffs and also that neck portion. And I'm going to add these die cut pieces. These all die cut with one die. So all of these pieces come on one die, which I think is so genius of Concord 9th. But I'm going to add these little trim pieces that I've die cut from some Juniper cardstock. And I just have my Pinkfresh Studio tweezers here to kind of help me position those. And now I have that beautiful trim on my sweater. And now I'm using some liquid glue, and I'm going to adhere the silver glitter snowflake to the center of the sweater. I mean, I can't tell you enough how much I love this sweater. It's right up my alley, and the green would look fabulous on me. So once I get my sweater assembled, I am going to add another couple of these silver glitter snowflakes to this Stay Cozy greeting. I'm just kind of adding these snowflakes to like the edges of letters to where they're kind of overlapping. And then I grabbed the sentiment from the sweater season stamp set. This says, "'Tis the season to be freezin'," because if you're like me, you freeze all winter long. I'm a California girl. I don't do cold very well. Anything under like 65 degrees is really cold to me. So when the winter season does hit, I get really cold. And so I thought this sentiment was perfect. I stamped it in some Juniper ink onto some white cardstock, and now I'm using my Tim Holtz mini tonic trimmer to just trim that down. I also kind of fussy cut around the bottom edge of that to give it a little bit of flair. And now I'm attaching it kind of over the sleeve and underneath the body of the sweater. Now I have one of the stencils. This is from the Stay Cozy stencil set. And I am ink blending this pattern onto some Nectar cardstock using some grapefruit ink. So this is just going to give me a tone-on-tone look. It's going to give my card front just a little bit of texture and give me a place to kind of land all of these elements that I've already assembled together. So you can see this is a very light covering of ink here. It's just a little bit of texture, but I think it was just what this card needed to kind of finish it off. Now I'm taking my sweater and my Stay Cozy sentiment and all of those pieces and adhering them onto my card front using some foam adhesive to give it a little bit of dimension, more dimension, because I like big cards and I cannot lie. These other brothers can't deny. So I'm going to add a couple more of those silver glitter snowflakes to my card front using some liquid glue. I added some sparkling clear sequins, and I added this entire card front onto an A2 white card base that's cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4.25 inches. So there you have it, a fun winter themed card. I love this set because you could use it for the holidays as well. Be sure to check out Concord 9th's brand new November 2023 release. It is fabulous. There's coffee in there as well. I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. Leave me a comment below. Tell me hi. I love your comments. I read them all. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.